I would like to start this podcast with an apology because I found the ARCLIGHT Phoenix. The ARCLIGHT Phoenix is real, and it exists in Clock Striker.
Oh, snap.
It took some digging, but Clock Striker does have an ARCLIGHT Phoenix.
Is it the exact same image? Is it the exact same image, though?
No.
Okay, then yeah, our theory still stands.
I sent some manga pages to the chat. As you can see, we have the protagonist saying, "Is that the ARCLIGHT Phoenix? It's real." Like, yeah, I had the same crazy shock on finding this. I had to dig a lot to find this ARCLIGHT Phoenix because here's a fun Clock Striker fact. They rebooted the series at some point and got a new artist. So this is going way, way back with the original artist.
From the original run.
Yeah.
Is that the ARCLIGHT? It's real.
Yes. So the ARCLIGHT Phoenix appears in issues 32 and 33 of the Saturday AM magazine back in 2015. You can understand how I missed that, right?
Yeah.
Because look, I read the two tankobons and I went through the most, because Saturday AM, they have the most recent magazine available for free. So I was thinking like, okay, there's like 2 chapters of this that I'm missing out on. That it's like, what are the odds at the arc? No, I had to really, really dig before it got its reboot. And I sent this other page about the ARCLIGHT Phoenix. There's this little like taper looking girl with little taper ears getting really excited about the ARCLIGHT Phoenix, which I thought was hilarious.
Love her.
It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's 10 years later.
It really is.
Iconic character design.
I know, right? Yeah, I wouldn't have thought
she kind of reminds me of Mark from To Your Eternity.
Oh my gosh, I was about to say that. That's amazing. I was going to be like the little girl, the one, from that show about the guy who was like a god creature. I don't remember the show that well. I just remember that character.
Yes. Yeah, so that's a big apology for that. I don't want to spread misinformation on this podcast. But that the drawing itself, I still have some questions about. I'll say that.
I would also agree.
But it does happen. Maybe, since they did reboot the manga, maybe they are planning to incorporate the ARCLIGHT Phoenix arc into an upcoming chapter. And I do want to move over to the comment section because I was given this tip by BradResGames, who left a wonderful comment. He said, "Just an FYI, the ARCLIGHT Phoenix appears in the first story of Clock Striker that was released in the old Saturday AM magazine many years ago." Now, I'll read the rest of that comments thread after we've gone through the rest of the comments, because, he had a lot to say. But were there any comments from the previous podcast that stood out to either of you?
Yes, Funky Studios 12, the absolute legend.
Yes.
I'm very happy that they saw the video. I'd be glad to. I'll read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Funky Studio 12, who is a returning commenter, goes, "This whole AI business really just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If this was just a concept or a placeholder, then I wouldn't mind it as much." Absolutely agreed. But trying to pass it off as a finished product feels like I'm getting cheated out of my money. Hopefully, the publishers listen and amend this in the future. And then they also say, "Thanks for the shout out. Omagadaki Zoo needs more love," and they nudge you to be like, "Can you help it get more love?" Very sweet to say. And I agree with your message as well, Funky Studios, that the idea here is not necessarily that, we're criticizing what we think might be some present AI in this game because we're trying to attack any specific artist. That's not the reasoning at all. The reasoning is because this is a commercial product. This is intended to maybe release in the stores, in Walmart, in the mall, We want to make sure that people aren't getting scammed out of their money here, especially when you don't disclose that it's AI. Just like Tapir said, that game that was on Kickstarter and was completely open about being AI, that's a different story. We're not going to bark up that tree. But with this game, it's all about the independent minority creators getting a chance to get their work out there. But if it's not really their work, then what's the deal, basically?
Yeah. There was another good comment. Strangely, this one was hidden by the profanity filter, and when I went on the YouTube app, this comment does not appear. So You may not see this when you go on the video. But Paintbrush777 says, I'm hoping Saturday AM will say something about this, but we all know they're likely going to hold their tongue, shove their AI product onto the market, sell poorly, then pretend like it was a huge success while whatever real artists worked on the project collect scraps. No one demanded a Saturday AM card game. They just want to do what everyone else is doing to feel official because their CEOs have no original ideas. Good on you for being chill as possible, which, like, by the way, I didn't think I sounded chill, but thank you so much about this while being informative. It's so hard to not crack jokes and shenanigans, especially when at this point, I can't even tell how self-aware their artists are about the company they work for. Feels like we're dealing with the lolcows of manga now. I found something very interesting while I was digging because I want to highlight that who asked for this. They've been trying to do this card game for a while.
Oh boy.
Yeah. This is not their first venture into making a card game, which I found was very interesting, which I would not have found if I was if I was not on that psychotic quest to find the ARCLIGHT Phoenix. But Saturday Wars as a card game, they've tried to make it before. Now with Resurrection Games, they also did a Kickstarter for Saturday Wars, the crossover concept of let me pull that up.
Of course. While you talk about that, I wanted to say, I'm sure that this person didn't get blocked for any kind of thing that they said in their comment. I think that YouTube sometimes just blocks comments as like, if you've commented multiple things, which this person has, then YouTube like considers it spam sometimes, even if they're unique.
Oh no.
I know from experience. One way you can solve that though, you can add them as an approved user, which should make it so that all of their comments go through automatically. It's a little feature in the three dots drop down from your end.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'll put that on screen. That was in 2015. Issue 33, the same as the ARCLIGHT Phoenix.
What happened to these little?
I found a lot.
What happened to these little like yellow and gray guys? They look like Minecraft characters or something. Did they get removed from Saturday AM?
Oh, yeah. I don't know which series they're from. There's a lot of series that they've just kind of abruptly dropped, and
yeah, I would predict that. Not out of lack of skill. Yeah, I don't mean out of lack of skill. I just mean with such a big project like this, I would predict that some just vanished.
Yeah. That is it's unfortunate.
Especially because I'm sure that Saturday AM probably holds the intellectual property rights. I have no confirmation on that, but that would be my guess. If they're, using it on their merch and stuff, they probably hold the rights to that series. Which potentially means that the creator might not be able to continue it. Or maybe they can. That would be good if they can continue their own series.
Yes. I know some artists have left Saturday AM and they continued their series with other publishers.
Good.
And some artists, it's just kind of stuck in IP limbo, which sucks.
Yeah.
I have sent an ad for the original Saturday Wars trading card from 2015. So hopefully this time they knock it out of the park and they and they make it real.
To give them the benefit of the doubt, they're in a much better time. Back in 2015, back when like the biggest YouTubers in the world were like Angry Video Game Nerd and like Nostalgia Critic and I don't know, like H Bomber Guy or something. Back then, it was heavily shamed upon to do a Kickstarter. In fact, there was this controversy that James Rolfe of Angry Video Game Nerd was put into, not because he did a Kickstarter, although he later did do one, but this controversy was because someone else was crowdfunding like their own game, and AVGN actually reported on it. It was a like remake sequel thing of like that Cheetah Men game on NES, and he supported it and was like, this will probably be better than the original, so go support them. And everyone was like shitting on him because they're like, how dare you support crowdfunding? James, you've betrayed us, If they were so anti-crowdfunding back then. So I can imagine this failing back in 2015. That is not a surprise that it failed in 2015. It was a very anti-crowdfund time.
Bro, I had no idea. I'm going to send you the Kickstarter for the crossover for Saturday Wars.
Yeah.
When they first tried, they got 46 backers and were able to make $1,321, which not bad. They didn't meet the goal. And it's like, I don't want to shame them for not meeting the goal, but Yeah, that I didn't know that was the internet culture at the time. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research into that. 2014, that was definitely the culture. And granted, some of it was justified because you also had around that time stuff like Mighty Number 9 that seemed like it was never going to come out. And then it finally did, and then it was shit. So like there was bad Kickstarters.
My personal favorite example of a disaster Kickstarter, Hive Swap.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Homestuck video game.
Yeah. Sarah Z has a great video on that, Sarah Z.
That was a fucking disaster.
Absolutely.
My
Like, it did
heart
come
just
out
broke
eventually.
again hearing that name. Oh.
It did come out eventually. It was pretty good, but like,
Yeah.
still, it kind of like the development was the first studio that was hired to make it like stole the money,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
and
man.
the author of Homestuck kept having to like step in and deal with shit and help out with the game, so it like kept causing these long ass hiatuses with the comic, and it kind of killed the fandom for a while.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when I was just like, all right, I think I'm kind of done with Homestuck, and I just kind of lost interest in the whatever they were up to after that. Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, it was rough.
So yeah, in some regards, crowdfunding was like considered bad. Like people were discouraged from doing it. Like even you were seeing these people like AVGN and like Nostalgia Critic who were doing crowdfunds and were getting backlash for simply promoting them. But then at the same time, there were these big properties, like Homestuck is quite large, that were also, making big fuck ups and hiring irreputable studios that weren't trustworthy. All kinds of stuff. There was another one called Yogscast based on these Minecraft YouTubers, and they just ran with the money. But yeah, enough said about all that. That's enough covered for that. I just wanted to say that it makes sense that this would fail the first time. I think they're going to have better luck in a post-Undertale world. Post-Undertale, much more luck, because this was 2014 when they failed the first time.
See, that's why I want to be very careful with this podcast.
Yeah.
Because if their current crowdfunding venture over on GameFound, if that doesn't work out the way that they hope, I don't want to be blamed for this. Like, I just want to share my opinions on the game and talk about the game and, all the news surrounding this game. I want this game to succeed and to work. But look, I kind of sound like a bully sometimes. I'll just say
it's okay.
Please try to hear past any ribbing that I may do. I do believe in Saturday Wars and all their diverse manga heroes.
Yeah, I agree with all that. The way I see it, we're talking about it like we expect this to succeed, which is why we're trying to make it as good as it can be. And when I say succeed, I don't necessarily mean be good, because a success and something that are good are quite different. We want to try to ensure that it's both successful and good.
We expect it to get funded.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily expect it to do well to do well once it's out.
Exactly.
There's some very interesting cards in here that make it a very interesting game. I will say that.
True.
I want to read a comment from Nitwit's World.
Sure.
No, Nitwit, he's one of my oldest internet friends, so I got to shout him out. He says, I won't ever support Saturday AM. I'll buy real manga and some funny comics from the Peanuts. Hey, Nitwit, I love you, but I will fight you on that. Saturday AM is real manga. That is something that I definitively will.
Whether or not it's good manga is a different conversation. Manga.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like, is it comparable to Death Note, or is it comparable to the new thing that's being made by those Death Note guys? That one that's not very good.
No. Showtime.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so bad.
Bootleg Ocarina.
I haven't looked into it, so I wouldn't know.
You're better staying away. Canadian Turtle left a pretty long comment. It's a little off topic, but I really appreciate whenever Canadian Turtle stops by, because he is a big white manga fan and he follows my content. So I feel like he is the true enlightened centrist who could take the best of both worlds and make something cool.
Yeah.
He sent me some of his manga the other day to look over, and his stuff is fucking insane, and I love it, and I hope he goes and he takes over the manga world. When a Canadian Turtle talks, I want to listen.
He's an animator too, and some of his stuff is very successful, such as, not to put you on the spot here, but Donald Trump anime opening was 2 million views, and I clicked on it. It's not just a meme, it's a legit animation. It's a lot better than just
Yeah.
those like Ava memes where they just put still images over Ava footage.
Yeah.
It's a real animation.
Yeah, he is the real deal, man. Like, I am so excited for him to finish his manga because, like, the little bit that he sent me was so cool. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. He sent me some fan art. I'm really excited to open it. I'm gonna save that for when we record the Scooter Pitch podcast, so we can open it live and like record our organic reaction. So look, Canadian Turtle, if you don't want us to put your fan art on, like to share your fan art like that, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm very excited to see that. Really love having you stop by always.
Yeah.
Did any other comments stand out?
This is Canadian Turtle's comment is very good.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Not to discourage anyone, but a lot of these are, just kind of ripping on the same idea of like, this is AI.
It's sad that they're using AI. I wish they weren't using AI.
Yeah. It's pretty unanimous that please don't use AI for the final product, and this AI looks terrible. That's like those are the two kinds of comments we got on the last video. I did want to read the rest of what BradResGames said.
Yeah.
Now, I saw that before we hit record, this comment disappeared, and I don't know if this was false flagging by the profanity filter or if he deleted the comment. If he deleted the comment, I will cut the next part out. I will blur this. This is all things that you can do in YouTube Studio after a video comes up. If BradResGames deleted this because he feels he misspoke, I will cut this from the podcast. Like, I'm not trying to make any Mandela effects, but also, like I said, I'm really going out of my way to not screw with this crowdfunding venture that he's up to. With that in mind, I would like to read this comment chain, which for the moment, I will assume went away because of the profanity filter, which is working on overdrive lately.
Yeah.
So, BradResGames says, just an FYI, the ARCLIGHT Phoenix appears in the first story Clock Striker that was released in the old Saturday AM magazine many years ago. So I went out, I went and I dug to find the ARCLIGHT Phoenix. I found it. I came back and I replied, thank you for the correction. I see it appeared in issue 33 of Saturday AM. Still have questions about the creation of the image, which appears to heavily use AI.
Can I read for Brad?
Yeah, definitely.
I can appreciate your concern about the use of AI in the art. This illustration was drawn by Isuka and submitted to our team for use in the game. Because the ARCLIGHT Phoenix isn't an active part of the manga canon, Isuka wanted to do a reimagination of the Phoenix that's referenced in the early days of Clock Striker.
Lucario, do you want to do my voice?
Perfect voice. No, I'll let you be yourself.
Okay. Like, there was an opportunity to bully me and give me the whiniest, dorkiest voice possible.
I think I'm concerned about the AI art.
Daisuke, taper clip. I can't bully you like that.
My biggest concern about the AI art is if it'll appear in the final printed version of the game. Will there be AI art in Saturday Wars when it's sent to print?
At Paperclip. Rest assured, when the final version of this game is printed, no AI art will be included.
That's a relief about the AI art. I'm really happy to hear that. Was Resurrection Games aware of the AI art, or was it deliberately used as a temporary placeholder?
No response.
No response after that.
As
of this recording, I'm taking his word for what he said, and I am assuming that this went away because of the profanity filter.
Yeah, he could have just not been able to find it again, given the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, that is a strange place for it to end. Very open-ended.
Look, nobody at Resurrection Games owes me a tour of their factory, or they don't need to show me all the little garden gnomes that are meticulously piece by piece putting together this card game. They've been very open about what have they been open about? They've been good at answering questions. I'll say that. Even if I'm a little nervous to ask them questions directly and get too involved. If that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be like, pounding at the door like, hey, answer me about the AI art. Hey, like I don't know. It just feels a little crass. And if they don't owe me an explanation, even if I'm curious about that. So I appreciate how that they've been open to communicate thus far. And if that's as much as they want to say about their process, that is their business, I suppose. Like I don't want to poke them too hard because I was kind of afraid of reviewing this at first because they don't really have much of an online presence. So I wasn't sure how they would react to critique because nobody likes, it's like, I don't want to say nobody likes getting critiqued because I love getting critiqued, but like not everyone's like built for that. So I didn't know if they would take it very personally and start like a false flagging campaign or the usual YouTube nonsense that happens when you find somebody that disagrees with you. So it's cool that, they've been pretty okay so far, I think. And I appreciate that they've been receptive to this podcast, that they listen to us. I still have questions about the AI in this game, but if they don't want to answer, that's their business. And I do hope that there's no AI in the final version of the game. That's about it. How about you guys?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Before we move on to the spreadsheet, there was one more thing. I want to do a little engagement baiting, if you guys don't mind.
Oh, that reminds me of an idea I had too. So I'll share my idea right after yours.
A few days after we posted our, this was on March 27th, the Saturday AM CEO posted this. This current AI controversy was predictable. He means the Ghibli AI art situation that everybody's talking about.
Right.
And our CEO has been talking about it for years, now including most recently at a talk at Cisco. Join our IG Live today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard to discuss this and more. I watched that IG Live, and I do have it backed up in case he takes it down. He does not talk about AI at all in that Instagram Live. So I don't know what could have happened between the time that he posted this declaration versus the time he hit go on his iPhone and he started recording for Instagram. If there's any interest, next episode, I would love to like review some clips with you guys. There's some things that he says about the anime industry that I know, Lucario, I know that you would have some thoughts on. I'll just
That sounds very funny.
Yeah, I would love to look over this, but I want to test the waters and see if there would be any interest in us, playing some clips and reacting to this next episode. So I'll set the bounty at 5 comments. We get 5 comments saying, you guys, please, what's your take on this? We will do it.
That's a very realistic number. 5 comments of people who want to see us talk about the Instagram Live. We've done responses to, card write-ups. We've done responses to illustrations. We've done responses to campaign talk and communication, but actual listening to them and reacting to their words in the flesh, that will be new. And I think that would be very valuable. So I hope we get those 5 comments.
Yeah. Chroma, any objection or?
No objection. I'd be down.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I always gotta make sure everyone's on board. Rope you in to anything other than looking at a spreadsheet.
Of course. Is that everything you wanted to talk about for your engagement bait, as we call it? Because I have one too.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Lucario?
So just another topic to potentially give to the commenters to talk about, but it's also something we can address here as well. In my podcast I do with Yakuman on my channel, sometimes we talk about media that isn't so good. And when we do that, we like to bring up good media, not necessarily to try to keep this air of positivity, but more to generally, be well, if this thing wasn't so good, then here's some other stuff that we can recommend that does it really well. And this is an idea we got from Trixie as well. In her anime videos, she always well, that show sucked, but this one and this one are better. So I thought it would be nice if we're talking about these card games, it might be fun to, at some point, it doesn't have to be a segment or anything, just bring up some card games that we do like to be take a look at this Saturday AM publishers and look at this card game, and it will give you good stuff to look at. So yeah, just recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
Commenters share too.
When I was, when I was in their server, in the Saturday Wars server, because they said
Magic the Gathering wasn't a good comparison.
That Magic wasn't a good comparison. They said that Marvel Snap was the better card game to compare Saturday Wars to. I haven't played Marvel Snap. I told them I'll look into it by the next episode. I didn't look into it. But if other than Magic, I would love to hear what other card games. Millania in the comment section, they frequently bring up Yu-Gi-Oh! And compared to that, I always really love their Yu-Gi-Oh! Input, which is very cool.
Unfortunately, I know jack shit about Yu-Gi-Oh! So
I also unfortunately know next to nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Very basic things about Yu-Gi-Oh! Beyond that, no.
I would also love if there's anybody else doing their own indie card games or Kickstarters in that same vein. I would love to shout them out and look at that as well. Saturday Wars has opened me up to like this whole world of card games and board games that I just was only tangentially aware of. So if there is anyone in the comment section that's like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm trying to get this card game off the ground, leave a comment, we'll check it out. You know, we do want to spread positivity. We don't want to just be laughing at villains every episode.
I'll recommend a few myself, and then we'll leave the rest to the commenters to say any card games that they recommend. But I was going to say, if the goal here is something that is very clearly inspired by Japanese culture, I mean, we're calling the publishing manga, so obviously we're taking influence from Japanese culture here, using Japanese words, then it might be interesting to look into Japanese card games, you guys. I understand, saying Magic is not quite for me, but Magic is not quite for me in the sense of comparisons, but the creator of Magic did make a
Duel Masters.
I was just about to say that. Chroma just said it. I was going to say Duel Masters is by the creator of Magic the Gathering, but it's a Japanese game made for the Japanese audience.
Basically what it was like Duel Masters was sort of intended as like a somewhat simplified version of Magic, and also like a version of Magic for the Japanese market.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still going strong over there, if I'm remembering right.
Absolutely, and with new anime to boot, it's very much going strong.
It's so cool.
It was actually brought over here for a while, and then they stopped bringing it over here, and they started bringing it over again as Kaijudo, and then they stopped making Kaijudo.
I remember that.
This is
all
quite the
very
rabbit
sad.
hole.
But Duel Masters was itself very influential.
That's so cool. I had no idea about any of this. That's so cool.
It had its own really interesting, innovative stuff, like the whole shield system.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was very awesome. And it sort of had a rival as well, because so when we're talking about Duel Masters, it was Wizards of the Coast, the guys who did Magic, and they made it. But at the same time, there were Japanese companies, like big Japanese companies, that were trying to compete with them. And one of them was Bandai Namco and Sunrise, who around the same time created Battle Spirits, which is basically its like rival in terms of sales and stuff. It's a very different game, but they both kind of compete. Complete with both of them having anime that aired around the same time and stuff like that.
Yeah, and of course Bandai also has Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, that's everything I wanted to say there. Just a recommendation, and
I think
who
it
would
would
like
pretty
this?
neat to do like the occasional ad hoc tabletop set thing where we like try to figure out a card game none of us know how to play.
Oh, that would be cool. Yes. We also still need a name for this podcast. I've been calling this the Untitled Saturday Wars podcast.
Oh man. We'll figure it out later.
the image is
We'll
perfect.
figure it out. The what?
The cover image for the podcast is perfect. No changes there needed.
Thank you. So, I guess we could move on to the spreadsheet. Let me send that card, and I found the original manga art for the next few cards in the spreadsheet.
Oh.
So we can compare that. And today we will be going through some of the holes from that were previously not there, which is very exciting.
Now, Tater, I know you're very disappointed that card number 1 isn't Sano Ant with Bindle.
You know what? It's close enough. It's close enough. It actually is very close to Sano as Ant with Bindle, because this is the scene where his mentor explains the break the ebony wall, and so he's explaining it, right? And so he concludes his lecture with, if you're ever fighting somebody who breaks the ebony wall, your best bet is to run. So like, literally telling him to turn into the ant with a bindle.
Beautiful.
I'll send that manga cap as well if somebody wants to start reading this one, because there are a lot of notes, because this card
impulse walls, Ivory and Ebony. Breaking the first wall, Ivory gives us more control of impulse.
Chroma, do you think you could read for me? Because I have to step out of the room for 1 minute. Sweet. Chroma will be on this one.
Okay.
Gives us more control for our impulse levels, allowing our bodies to execute more powerful spells. It'll take years to learn these walls and rebuilding them, while walls are broken off of impulse. What is impulse?
Impulse is like their innate magic abilities, and you get your magic and in their world. Okay, basically magic in their world is like the midichlorians in Star Wars, that you just have a certain set amount of magic in you based on how many black fruits that your ancestors ate, which kind of sucks. And so Sano's dad was like he was trying to rejuvenate the bloodline, but then he was killed. It was very tragic. But yeah, okay. I set the page where he ends his lecture and he says, "If you cannot break any walls and you engage in a battle with a sorcerer who can, please
break
run."
that wall. If you cannot break any walls, and you engage in battle with the sorcerer who can break the ebony wall, run.
He's telling him, "Ant with Bindle."
Ant with Bindle.
It's real. So this card potentially breaks the game.
Oh, what is... Okay, prologue, exhaust... Okay, so the characters just can't do shit, basically. Right? Unless I'm wildly misremembering the quick start guide.
So break the ebony wall. I guess we should just read the spreadsheet. But I sent the key card that if you play this with the ebony wall, the game breaks very easily.
It's a challenge if the defender's Sano retreat card. So card number 1, break the ebony wall. Card ability, prologue, exhaust all characters. Narrative, players each take 5 actions this turn. Interesting.
Yeah.
Would, each take 5 instead of 4. Comma use optimal? Yes, because there aren't any. Period at the end? Yes, they have periods. Cool. What is wrong? And this is a long...
Yeah.
If your opponent has 1 protagonist, this card allows a player to win the game before your opponent's first action without needing to draw any cards. It would take 2 turns if your opponent has 2 protagonists. How to win? Go first, not necessary. Bid 10 to 30 cards. What the fuck is bidding?
Oh, yeah, because in Saturday
Mornings,
right,
you bid the cards, and then whoever bids more goes first, and they don't have that many cards on the deck or something.
No, just
that goes in the first pile.
Yeah, so you would so say like I bid 10 cards, so then you would take 10 cards from the Shonen deck and put it in the purge pile.
Yeah, okay.
So you want to do this combination, you would want to guarantee that you go first to instant kills. So you would bid anywhere from 10 to 30 cards.
Yeah. Choose protagonist, because there is no random chance here.
Mm-hmm.
Prince Ashokan Caesar. Action, issue a challenge. Yeah, action. Issue a challenge if the defender is Sano, retrieve 2 cards, limited to twice per chapter. Choose this chapter. Only if you go first. No random chance. Because, you choose. You don't pick at random.
Yeah,
Cough. Yeah. Cough. Remember last episode when I lost my shit over this not being random?
Yeah.
First action, declare attacker, Prince Ashokan Caesar. Declare defender, opponent's protagonist. Strike, random variable. Both players reveal the top card of the deck and add the purge cost to the progress value. Losing would result in an instant loss for yourself as well. You don't need to play any other cards in the deck, so their abilities do not matter. Have deck built with the highest purge cost cards among the 150 indiscriminately. Once a player no longer has a protagonist in play, they lose. If the player has 2 protagonists, repeat the attack for the second action. If you don't use Break the Ebony Wall, you can still exhaust and then kill as 2 separate actions without using any cards in hand. It is uncertain if number 63, Cast Quick Thinker's ability can cancel the chapter. Cast ability, each time a character is about to be exhausted, place a mark on cast, place a marker on cast and purge 1 to cancel it. Cast may only hold 2 markers. Cast cancels it, whatever it is. Oh god, yeah. And then how Magic the Gathering does it. He talks about Flash Hulk, which is one of the most infamous 1-turn kills in all of Magic.
The way Ricky summarized it to me was that the 1-turn, like he wanted to use one of the more famous examples, even if there's other ways to do it, but he was saying that like Magic, it was
very hard to do this.
Yeah, it's very specific. This is
and you need to get very lucky with what you draw.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy way to 1-hit kill.
Yeah, because exhaust all characters, and then I guess exhaust all characters.
Because
can characters still attack if they're exhausted?
Yeah, they can still attack if they're exhausted, but
but if they lose, they die. Okay.
Yeah, so when you attack a character, they're exhausted, but then to send them to the purge pile, you have to attack them again while they're exhausted. Yeah. So the break the ebony wall would exhaust.
Yeah, it just gets rid of the need to exhaust them first.
So already you're down. You're in, like, if everyone's in the exhausted state, and since Prince Ashokan Caesar can issue a challenge, so he's issuing a challenge on the opponent's exhausted protagonist. Then when he attacks, then the protagonist dies, and then you win the game with Prince Ashokan Caesar. Which is also very funny because he's pretty much the villain in Apple Black. So, which is, I mean, that's a little funny that they.
I mean, this card does make sense flavor wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
You know, breaking the ebony wall, right? You surpass all limits, so everyone takes an extra action this turn, and it burns you out, so you exhaust all characters.
Yeah,
but that doesn't really work with the game.
No, unfortunately it doesn't. So now the game just becomes who is going to bet the most cards at the start of the turn to make sure that you will attack first with Prince Ashokan Caesar.
Yeah.
As for Cast Quick Thinker, each time a character is about to be exhausted, place a marker on cast and purge one to cancel it. Cast may only hold 2 markers.
I'm back.
This one, hey, what's up, Lucario?
Hi, did I miss too many cards?
We're still trying to break the ebony wall.
Good. That's great news.
Yeah.
This one's bad.
Yeah, this one's pretty bad. Like we were saying, Flavor Text matches what's on the illustration. It matches what happens in the manga. But I put on the chat the combination that you would want to play. So you play Break the Ebony Wall, and then you play Prince Ashokan Caesar as your protagonist.
And then you win.
Yeah. Because Ashokan Caesar issues challenges, and you don't have to futz around for that, and you can just have him attack. And if your opponents are already in the exhausted state and you attack the opponents, because that's a way to get a win state, is you send the protagonist into the purge pile. So not very good.
Thank you for explaining for me. That sounds very, very much like a card that is difficult to understand. But thank you for helping me try.
Yeah, and now I get to talk about Flash Hulk.
Please talk about
Flash Hulk is ridiculous. So basically,
please. Lucario, just for reference, this is we're trying to think of like what are other examples in Magic where somebody does a one-hit kill. Finding a one-hit
kill, basically.
Yeah, because this is a very easy way to get a one-hit kill in this game. Now, Magic's a little more complicated, but take it away.
This isn't even necessarily a turn 1 win. It can be a little bit more complicated, but basically, there's a card called Flash in Magic. It's banned in basically all the formats that would have otherwise been legal in. Because of this combo, actually.
Yeah.
Because it was that broken. So what Flash does is it costs 2 mana, right? 1 and a blue.
Yeah.
And normally, right, turn 1 you have access to 1 mana, turn 2 you have access to 2. In practice, you can get more than that pretty easily, right? In a lot of ways. Yeah. Right, you can cast it at any time. It's instant. It's instant speed. You can do it whenever. And right, and what it does is it lets you take a creature from your hand and put it onto the battlefield without paying the cost.
Yeah.
Or actually, what it actually says is you sacrifice it unless you pay the mana cost minus 2 mana. The thing is, you want to sacrifice the other card in this combo. So that's not a problem. And the other card is of course Protean Hulk. 5 and 2 green, 7 mana total. And when it dies, when it goes to the graveyard, right? Right, when it goes to the graveyard from the battlefield specifically, you can search up your library for any creature cards that have combined cost 6 or less mana, and you put them right onto the battlefield and shuffle.
Huh.
There are several combinations of creatures that cost less than 6 combined that can end the game.
I see.
There's a couple that actually do that by looping Protean Hulk back onto the battlefield and sacrificing it again.
Whoa, wait. That's
to get more
Sounds like
shit
a
on
lot.
the field. It's complicated. It's complicated. You have to know what you're doing, and right, and also you have to get lucky and actually draw this into your hand turn one.
Yeah.
But this did ruin the game until Flash was banned.
Yeah. I think that's the real kicker about this combination in Saturday Wars, because you choose your protagonist
and you
so
choose
you can
the
just
chapter card.
Yeah, you choose the
a
protagonist.
100% consistent turn one kill, as long as you go for which you will.
Wow,
because you can just bid an absurd amount.
Yeah, exactly. You bid 30 cards. I got to dig a little deeper. I'm not sure how you would counter this. It would have to be a card that would cancel.
Well, I mean, if cast
chapter effects
ability does cancel that effect, but does it?
Yeah, exactly. It's but does it really?
I mean, it's each time a character is about to be exhausted, but does the chapter effect take hold before an enduring effect? In this case, I think the chapter would go down first, right?
Yeah, the chapter you play first.
Yeah. Although then again, if the chapter goes down first, does it exhaust characters that aren't on the field yet?
Huh. That's a good point too.
If a chapter goes down and no characters are there to hear it, does it really make a sound?
Maybe.
Oh no. Oh, what's this nonsense going on in Sano's forehead on the card?
Oh,
he's got some
weird artifacting on there. Yeah.
I don't see that in the manga. Huh?
It might just be bad anti-aliasing.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about the road mark, track mark going into his head, right?
Yeah. What is going on here?
It goes behind the glow of his head. So there was a glow effect on his head, but then the car skid mark goes behind that.
Right? What's happening here?
I think this is bad anti-aliasing.
Okay.
I assume. You're talking about the weirdness on the hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like just bad. Oh god. Yeah, on the top of his forehead. Yeah, what is that? Oh,
right?
Oh yeah.
On there.
Definitely.
Man,
this is one of those extended panels, so
it didn't need to extend it that much. I don't know.
It really didn't. I mean, now he just has now they just have weirdly long foreheads.
They do. They're Code Lyoko.
Oh man. I can almost see the imprint of where the speed bubble was. Oh no.
No, God, no. Yeah, no. I see it. I see the Code Lyoko forehead.
Play tic-tac-toe on there.
Yeah, that's rough. I have to wonder if when Resurrection Games says there will be no AI art in the final version, do they think that extending an image with AI or coloring with AI that doesn't count as AI art? Because I could see somebody thinking oh, that's not AI art in the same way, which would kind of explain a lot if they're saying there's no AI art, but then there's all this AI coloring. If they just have a different definition of what AI is, then people will
Resurrection Games. Resurrection Games, I am begging you, just pay someone to do this.
Yeah.
Just pay someone to color it, pay someone to extend it.
Please do, because I hate to be a nitpicking asshole, but also with his cheek, they very clearly made his hair longer on the card than it would have been in the manga. In the manga, there is a word bubble kind of covering his cheek. So what they did is instead of drawing more of his cheek themselves, they just extended his hair to cover.
Yeah.
No. Why?
doesn't look its best. Again, I don't want to speculate. They don't owe me an explanation. But right now, I think that kind of makes the most sense that what they define as AI art is different from how we define it.
Yeah.
I think
I see the like imprints of the speech bubbles on the right side.
So silly.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a weird glow effect. But no, it's the speech bubble.
That would be so easy to just color over in Clip Studio. That's like a lot of the weirder AI stuff is like, what do you mean? This would be like 10 minutes tops in Clip Studio, 10 minutes tops in MS Paint. Like, you could do a better job, like, instead of running it through the AI prompter.
It would take less time for someone who knows what they're doing to fix this than for the AI to do it. Like, them to figure out the prompt to get the AI to do it.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's kind of like what discouraged me from AI. Like, at first I was just really intimidated and defeated by AI, and I was like, hey, I can't be depressed about this forever. So I'm like, I'm going to force myself to play with this and like get over this. That was the big thing, was like, it just felt like a pain in the ass, because it's like, no, I know how I want this to look. And it's just like, just this really slow, like, back and forth. At least for image generation, I see how it can be useful, but I don't know. I don't know. This is like, maybe rethink how okay I am with AI, because, well, this is kind of like a worst case scenario unfolding before me is like what's happening with this card game, and I'm just really not happy about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to the next card.
Sure. Would you like me to read that one? Card number is number 6. The card title, subtitle, is Abstract Engineering Exercise. The faction is Clock Striker. The action type is Narrative. The card ability is, during this chapter, after each player has taken 2 actions, plot twist cards can no longer be played. Comma use optimal? Yes. Period at the end? No. What is wrong? No issues found. How Magic the Gathering does it? Would that be Archon of Valor's Reach. Archon of Valor's Reach. Of course, 4GW, Creature Archon. Flying Vigilance, right. Sorry, I'm really struggling today. Trample. And as this creature enters, choose artifact, enchantment, instant, sorcery, or planeswalker. Players can't cast spells of the chosen type. 5 out of 6. And I think that's everything I needed to read.
Which is, yeah. So I think what Ricky was going for there was like, that's a card that's like, pick a card type, you can't play it. This is a card that says you can't play, right? You can't play cards of this type. I think plot twists are kind of equivalent to like sorceries and instants.
Yeah, that's about right.
So, and there are plenty of cards in Magic that are like, opponents can't play this type of spell. Opponents can't play, right? Opponents can't play instants, or like the first spell cast every turn is countered.
Yeah.
So like this is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing
like as far as the card design, this is fine. Yeah.
I want to talk about that funky looking shoulder that they got on this.
The real spiky shoulder.
I sent the original manga panel to compare it to, and it was drawn like that. Which, again, that's just kind of part of, when you're making a manga, you're going to take shortcuts, and not every panel is going to be you flexing at your absolute hardest. So it's understandable. I know this scene gets reposted a lot. It's the scene where what's her name, the sunglass lady, and she braids her hair, and they have this nice moment, and that's why it's called, why the card itself is called Abstract Engineering Exercise, because she says it's not too different from an engineering exercise, in reference to braiding her hair. And she looks and she's like, wow, I love it. She loves her new hair.
Love it. Thanks.
Lucario,
color figure.
Pretty much. Lucario,
any thoughts from me? I don't have any criticisms that come to my mind specifically. I'd read this comic.
Yeah, they did a good job with the coloring on this one. I say very cautiously, not knowing if it's AI or not, but I think the color choice for this scene worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could say that.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say they actually got a human to do this one.
Yeah, this one looks. This one doesn't have any bizarro artifacting.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Yeah. You know, there's the change from the shower water to kind of being blurs to lines. There's
also like a lot of texture.
Yeah, the tiles look
work.
right.
Yeah. Everything is
right.
fine.
There was a lot to go on for tiles from the in the original panel.
Yeah,
and they still look right.
Hey, I didn't notice that. Yeah,
the towel, right? The towel's hanging behind where the where the speech bubbles were. And you can't really see that in the original panel. So I think this was actually done by a human. The coloring and redrawing and such.
Yeah, that was a good background they added. Whoever that was. Yeah, good job on the hopefully human artists who colored this in. It looks great. The original panel looks.
Oh yeah, and at the bottom it's extended a lot, and you can see that, and it actually looks right.
I don't see any funkiness. Like, yeah, if all the cards were, human drawn, we'd have a lot less complaints.
Right, and Brad did claim that the original artist for Clock Striker did do some work on this. So
yeah, see that was
the original artist probably did the extension here. It looks like it's still their work.
Yeah, that sounds right. Even if we don't have any way of proving it.
Yeah, I have zero evidence. I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel like two different artists.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. It's either the original artist or somebody who's very good at touching up art.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to the next one if
sure
said what we had to about it.
Yeah. Who wants to read that?
Yeah, Chrome, if you.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, Chrome, if you want to start, I can start. I can look for the next card.
So, yeah, number 8. Forging with Hard Light. This is an epilogue. It's from Clock Striker. The player with the lowest total progress value claims this chapter. So it's basically backwards. Right. It's a sort of trick room effect. Right. If you ever played the Pokemon games, there's Trick Room, which makes it so that the slowest Pokemon goes first instead.
Yeah.
So I think this is a decent effect. It's a fun way of flipping things on its head. Ricky seems to disagree. If your protagonist progress value is higher at the start of the chapter, there are a few ways to counter it. Can't lower your own progress value with your own cards to help with this chapter. Although the quick start guide doesn't say that upgrades can be played only on your own / opponent's characters, the 2 negative progress value upgrades are explicitly limited to an opponent's ally. You can upgrade your opponent's character progress value to make their score higher than yours. You can purge your own protagonist or protagonist upgrades with various abilities. So yeah, I like this one. I don't know how well it plays in the game, really, but I like it. I like this design.
Yeah. I think Ricky's getting a little too caught in his own head, thinking of how do I outsmart this? But that is an important part of
which I mean, like, fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We are this is nitpicking. This is nitpicking.
Yeah.
Time.
This is the nitpicking hour. Like, how do we break this game as much as it can be broken?
Nitpicking hour.
Different ways to break
the podcast.
The nitpicking hour.
The nitpicking hour is upon us. The clock strikes 7 o'clock for me.
I was thinking, what if it's like the opposite of Saturday Wars, and it's like Monday Peace?
Well, I mean, we record this on Thursday, so
okay.
Thursday.
Man, oh, that is a real nitpick.
Thursday hugging sessions.
Thursday group hug.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if any of those are taken. Oh, that was the other thing. They still haven't trademarked Purge to Play. They put like in the quick start guide, it's everywhere. The Purge to Play trademark, and I keep checking. They still have a trademark that. It's making me sweat, dude. It's like, why are you listening to our podcast? Get down to that trademark and patent office. File some paperwork.
Okay, guys. Okay, Saturday Wars, folks. If you don't trademark it soon, we're going to use it as the name for the podcast.
No! I don't want to interfere with their business.
Look, I'm just trying to get them to get on that, please.
It's the ultimate. I'm doing this because I love you.
So, yeah. Chop chop, guys.
That for legal purposes, that was a joke. We won't.
And also for actual purposes, that was a joke. It would be a terrible name for the podcast.
That too. The Purge to Play. Maybe call it the Play to Purge.
The Purge to Play podcast, PPP.
I guess we can move on to the next one.
I mean, we didn't really talk about the art.
Oh, yeah. Any comments on the artwork?
Sure, I definitely could think of something to say. So when we're talking about this one, first of all, something I just happen to notice in general, over the past couple of ones that we've looked at, there is a strong amount of pink, which is actually cool to see. Generally in boys media, there's this like aversion to quote unquote feminine colors, even though in my opinion, the idea of a color being more feminine or more masculine is just absurd. You can make the most badass, manly macho illustration of all time and do it entirely in pink. There was an entire,
JoJo?
Yes. And I was just about to say there was an entire, I don't remember what it was. It was like Husbands for Breast Cancer Awareness or something like that. There was like a Reclaim Pink movement among men as well. So my point being that pink should have every reason to be here, and I'm glad to see it here. That's just kind of a general thought I had about all of these, a large amount of pink, which is nice, in hair, in weapons, and everything.
I mean, look, as we all know, teal is a girl's color and purple is a boy's color.
The Baja Blast gender binary.
The Baja Blast gender binary.
Yeah, this one looks...
This one looks pretty all right. I think they actually shortened the art instead of extending it.
Oh, yeah. Made it closer up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Cass is almost getting the Mike Wazowski. It's just placement is
that's
very
some of it is a bit simplified actually. Like the texture on the shirt has been taken off.
Yeah, I see that.
The pattern on the shirt, that guy's eyes are dots instead of full eyes.
Yeah.
There even is a character who got Mike Wazowski straight up on the bottom right.
Yeah. On the bottom right. Yeah, that's Cass.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's Cass.
Yeah. It's Shonen Manga's first black female protagonist, everybody. We got to clap whenever we see her.
Woo!
She did it. That was one of the funnier things that I found while I was rooting around through the archive was they didn't put screen tone on cast when they first start, in the first iteration of this manga. So, it's pretty easy to headcanon her as, God forbid, a white girl with dreads.
That's an interesting take.
If your whole thing is going to be we're going to constantly pat ourselves on the back for having Shonen Manga's first black female protagonist, it's good that she looks a little blacker now. The whole operation falls apart. If somebody looks at her what's that white girl with dreads doing here?
Yeah, I do like this mentor character's design a lot.
Oh yeah, she is cool.
This is very much my aesthetic. I mean, you got a lot of purple and green and white, and I like that. I like those colors. Yeah. I like that combination. So
yeah, there's a lot of good character designs in Clock Striker.
So wait, the taper, is she actually literally a taper? I wasn't clear on that.
Circling back.
I can't help but think it because the taper sent it again. I'm like, is it really a taper girl? Or is it just hair that looks like ears?
I think it's just hair, or maybe a little feather. But also her bangs are sticking up, so it looks like a taper snout. So it's she's a very taper coated character.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh god, now I'm just getting sad thinking about Mark from Pure Eternity again.
Anime Shonen Manga's first taper side character.
First taper side.
I'm pretty sure she's not Shonen Manga's first black female protagonist, but I don't want to rain on their parade,
Yeah, I was thinking about that genuinely, and I was thinking about the only dark-skinned protagonist I can think of in a boy-oriented media would be Weathering Continent. Do you remember that, Chroma? It was one that Trixie recommended, Weathering Continent. I don't know if she's really black though. She's dark-skinned, but I don't know if she's meant to be a what descent she is, because it's a sci-fi.
Hold on, Weather and Continent.
It's by it's a director that Trixie likes. Forget what his name is. Koichi Mashimo. Yeah, director that Trixie did a whole video on. It was like her sequel to The Great Director That Time Forgot. Yeah, she did about this guy.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Yeah, this movie.
She's definitely dark skinned. Like she looks like Casca. Like in the anime, she's
yeah. I see what you mean.
I was thinking
more tanned than black to me.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't know.
I was thinking more from like the world of OEL manga. There are a few that I think came before Clock Striker, but I don't know. I don't want to nitpick too hard. Like I just think it's a little corny.
I feel
how they won't shut up about. Like I know all of marketing is corny, but like, come on, guys.
Olive marketing? We're buying olive? Anyone want to come see the world's biggest olive?
Oh God.
Shonen manga's first big olive.
Right? Like it's like they say it so much. It just feels like a meme. It's like, wow, there she is, Shonen manga's first black female protagonist. You know, like
I know what you mean.
Like I'm like, I believe it now. I don't even want to nitpick or say or try to do any gotchas. It's like it's real and I believe it now. But now whenever I see any like you said, like, wow, there's Shonen manga's first taper side character. It's like they're setting themselves up to be mean. Like, with the intensity and persistence that they say this phrase. It's like, well, now it's like you've just given us a meme template to dunk on you. And it's like oh my gosh, what is it? A giant olive.
Beautiful.
Oh my olive marketing.
Olive marketing.
Olive marketing.
I'm a big statue guy, so I would love to know what that's called as well. I can probably reverse image search it, but
it's just the world's largest olive in Lindsay, California.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I think there's another one that claims to be the world's largest olive.
Oh no. There's infighting in the world's largest olive community? Oh no.
It's also in California.
Oh no.
Someone ripped someone off.
The call's coming from inside the
the world's largest green olive.
Oh, they got that qualifier. Okay.
Yeah.
Next card.
Yeah, let's go on to the next card.
Runaway Train.
Runaway Train. The faction is Clock Striker. The action type is Epilogue. I know it's Epilogue. I just want to be silly. Card ability is whomever sick claims this chapter adds 3 progress markers to the next chapter. And then comma use optimal. In this case, yes. And then period at the end, no. And then what is wrong? There is no chapter effect during this chapter. This card resolves before the new chapter is played, requiring players to remember to add progress markers to the new chapter. And in terms of how Magic the Gathering does it, we have a blank spot. So I'm going to guess they don't.
Yeah, I mean, the Magic equivalent of chapter would be something like an enchantment or maybe an artifact. And that's, some artifacts do have this thing of putting counters on other artifacts, but it's usually like when they're leaving the field or while they're still on the field. So this is kind of weird. It's not the biggest problem, but it is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't a huge deal, but it is annoying. And as far as whomever, the rule to remember with like who versus whom is, would it be like she, like he, she, or like him, her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like who did this? Yeah. Him. Who did this? Whom, right? Whom did this, right?
Yeah.
Whom did this? It was him. Who did this? Right. Who did this? He did this. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You wouldn't say whom did this. You'd say who did this.
Yeah.
Right. But if it was it was whom.
Yeah.
Him,
because like
right?
you know who claims the chapter card when they win it, unless they're thinking like, well, you won't know until you play it.
Yeah.
Like, was that like the thinking when they wrote whomever? It's like,
to whom does this go? It goes to him, right?
Yeah.
So this would be whoever claims this. It would be he, right? It should be whoever.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I appreciate the attempt to use whom because it's people People forget that you are supposed to use that sometimes, but this ain't it.
Yeah, this runaway whom, I suppose.
Runaway whom. My pronouns are she, her, whom. Please only refer to me if you're asking a question.
Whomst played this card?
Okay.
And I did send the original manga art to compare.
Oh yeah, right. The art.
Looks like we got a little doodad added for the background. You got like a cliff that they added for the colored version. It looks like.
Oh yeah, they added like a little bit of background.
Yeah.
And also the headlamp for the trade.
Yeah. This is very intense. They did a good job on this.
Yeah, they did a good job, and we're rolling with the assumption that these aren't AI, because it just wouldn't make sense for AI to come up with something this consistent. We would be seeing the artifacting.
Yeah, this one looks a little more likely to have more of the human touch.
I guess I
I got some questions about that clip in the corner, but you know what?
I have some questions about Cast's left foot, which I guess is on the right of the card. It's kind of cut off weirdly.
Oh, I see.
So the bottom right corner has some issues.
Oh no, I see it.
First off, to make sure I'm understanding the same thing you are, what cliff? Oh, you mean the one that's like behind the text box? Like there's a little minuscule glimpse of a cliff. Yeah, that is odd. That's very odd. There's also some weird artifacting on the corner, but that might just be a glitch with a photo. I don't know if that's a glitch with their card. But you see what I mean? Like there's a band of color on the corner.
No, I think that like coloring stripe was just ripping the cards.
Okay.
I don't think that's
I think I may be slightly screwed up some of the ripping.
Nah.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure.
You did a good job.
But yeah, it's fine. It's good art. I can understand. I guess I would say it doesn't read as a train that much, but I mean, it's hard to do that with the panel. The panel is a zoomed in panel. I guess if we wanted to be like really put the most effort into this to make it as good as it could be, I mean, it says runaway train in the top, but maybe just a little bit more to make this apparently a train. Like, I don't know. You could do so many different things. You could have like a little bit of the ground showing train tracks, anything, just to make it a little bit more clear. Because it does kind of just look like she's like tied to some kind of spherical object. And if you didn't have the text, it would be impossible to tell.
The headlamp does go a long way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If the headlamp wasn't there, I would think it was a drill.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And like that would be overkill to tie someone to a drill. Like they're gonna get drilled and killed anyways.
Yeah, it's like without the headlamp, it kind of looks like a tunnel borer.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, in the manga, you could tell it's a train in the manga even without the headlight, because we see this panel of
you see the wheels,
the dramatic wheels, and then cut to Cast in front of the train,
and they're like holding onto the ropes too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, the card did a great job making it more train-like. In the manga, it's really hard to tell what she's even holding on to. I mean, if I didn't have the context of those previous panels, I would not think that's a train. But in the card, it's at least a little bit clearer. So actually, my props to them. That was an improvement. Yeah, that was kind of all my thoughts.
I think next card.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, because there's not too much to say about Runaway Train besides that. Does someone else want to read besides me? The next one we're looking at is Explore the Jungle Kingdom.
Number 11, Explore the Jungle Kingdom from Hammer.
Wasn't able to find the manga art for this one.
Prologue. Add the next chapter face up on the story, bro. What does that mean?
Oh my god, this one. No. I hate this one.
Is this like just play this chapter while knowing what the next chapter is?
Yeah, just finish reading it, and then I will say my thoughts.
Optimal comma use, yes, because there aren't any. No, period. Yikes. This card doesn't have its own chapter effect. It just pulls a new chapter into play. Unlike other chapters, this one seems to target only one player. But which one adds the next chapter face up? Its big trick is doubling the current chapter's value to 2 chapter points, while stacking on another chapter's effects. Play this when you're 1 chapter from losing. It's a clutch move. For example, a player down 1-2 can drop this to make that chapter the game ender, flipping the odds even from behind.
So without any context, like just seeing, and there was no magic comparisons for this one, just to finish the spreadsheet, but just, this felt like I was looking at an MC Escher painting when I tried to like keep rereading the text, add the next chapter face up on the story row. Well, you don't, because you play the next chapter based on whoever loses. So how do you know who's going to lose if you just played the card?
It's like, I would think it's whoever didn't put this card down, but like,
see, after thinking about it,
assume that when you're actually playing.
Exactly. No, like I think what you do is when you play this card, you play a second chapter card as you're playing it. Maybe. But yeah, you're right. It's your argument works just as well. Add the next chapter face up on the story. Like how can I do that if I just played this card? I don't get it. I'm stupid. I don't get it. I need
like
this card.
Rick's analysis last episode of like some of the simpler ones seem like they're AI because they don't really make sense, and this one does not make fucking sense.
See, like, it's like I don't know if this is like a stupid AI error or a stupid human error, but like I am just very bewildered by this card. Like, like how do I know what the next chapter is? It's like the way to reword this would be play 2 chapter cards this round.
It's like,
and
look, if
the
it
winner
were actually a book,
2.
there would be a defined next chapter.
Right?
But this isn't. It's a card game.
Yeah.
Also, just like, okay, I saw you put up a picture of the rarity symbol guide in the last video.
Yeah.
And like, why do the chapter cards have a separate rarity?
I don't get it either.
That doesn't make sense. That's
No.
silly. Or like,
no, it doesn't.
Like, do you get these separately from the booster pack? Like, is there a guaranteed chapter card slot in each booster pack? What's the deal here?
We could look on their game found. They had like a whole thing about how they were going to balance the game and for both the collectors and the players. And I think their whole thing was like, well, the most powerful cards are going to be the common ones, so you're not going to be priced out. Like, that was like the big thing.
That's stupid. That's no. Okay. The reason rares tend to be powerful is A, to encourage people to trade, right?
Yeah.
B, because like they're kind of intended to be the capstone of the deck, whether it's the rare or the super rare or whatever, right? It's like, okay, your commons and your uncommons, those are like those are like what you're using to build stuff up, right? They can still have cool effect, but they should be simpler cards generally.
Okay,
you want them to be simpler. These are like the ones making up most of the deck, right?
Yeah.
And then the rares are like, maybe you only need like 1 or 2 of them, right? But like, right? But like, this is the thing that the deck is built around. Ideally.
Okay, I found their your statement on this.
Read it.
Under their risks and challenges. So it's not just us speculating and me like trying to remember like, oh, well, I think they said this. So it says, as with most collectible card games, the balance between playability and collectability, it's always a challenge. For this reason, Resurrection Games has planned each set and the rarity drops rates with this in mind. Some of the most powerful cards are easily obtained. Oh, okay. So yeah, the dumbest thing I was remembering was right. Okay.
Some of the most powerful cards are easily obtained as common and uncommons. Special art treatments for collectors, alt art, other, whatever. It doesn't feel good to open a pack and get the rare card of the pack, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, rares don't need to be the best cards, but you want them to be powerful, you know?
I agree.
Even if it's not a good effect, it has to be a big effect.
Yeah, they got big plans for Saturday Wars.
They have big plans.
Big plans. See, I don't
think about big plans.
Shonen manga's first ever big plans.
It's like, look, you can have all the big plans you want. It's you got to make them work though.
Hey, they've been planning this for over 10 years.
They really have. Oh God.
Like because I don't want to like tease or bait too hard, but in that Instagram live that Fredrick Jones did, was talking like this card game is gonna ship out to Target and all that, and the GameFound campaign is, for the little extra doodads and for the fans to get the first look. I want to re-listen so I'm not misquoting him or misunderstanding, but it's like, how confident are they that like do they already have?
Is Target actually going to buy this?
Well, a lot of people won't if there's AI art. I'll just say that.
But like, is Target actually going to buy this and stock it on the shelves next to Magic? And honestly, they don't even buy that much Magic. Like,
is anybody going to put a little sticker on Saturday Wars and say "Warning contains AI art"?
Well, no, they're not going to do that.
I will.
I mean, maybe like the friendly local game stores will buy this, but not a lot of it. Probably.
Like Resurrection Games, if you want me to stage a big fight in Costco over Saturday Wars, I will do that because I think that would be very funny. I think me and Ricky will go down to Costco and just kick the shit out of each other for Saturday Wars.
I just like, is there really going to be demand for this among TCG players? Because isn't gonna
right now. I think we're
it's not going to get
talked about this.
Yeah, like realistically, this isn't going to get sold in big box stores. Like the only place likely to sell this is the the friendly local game store.
I mean, in all fairness, that is something under risks and challenges. They say the game may not reach sufficient players to support a widespread organized play format.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, organized play is like events. Like, yeah, this might not get enough players for local game stores to want to put on events for it. Yeah.
That was the other thing on their game found. It says this game has been designed and play tested for over 1 year. Again,
that's not abnormal, guys. Like,
yeah. Again, they don't owe anyone an explanation. But I'm curious what came up during play testing. if like us just reading the cards, if we're just continuously floored.
If this is what they're putting out, I gotta wonder what got cut.
Yeah, exactly.
If surprise birth, if SBP made it in.
yeah, surprise birthday party. Wow, that's a great card. Let's keep that one. Well, yeah. What card got cut for that?
I didn't tell you guys, but after I made that GIF of the characters, I submitted it as a card, and unfortunately, it did get accepted. So I'm memeing. I'm kidding. I'm joking. that was a joke. Was the whole unfortunately it got accepted?
I thought you submitted like a censored version.
I was just shit posting. Yeah.
You could have got me, man.
Yeah, I mean, you did get me.
Hey,
I detected not a hint of irony in your voice. That was completely deadpan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You should have kept that. You could have kept that going.
I could have kept that going for at least one episode. Yeah.
No, you actually could. See, I was thinking of submitting one, but there are some there's some trickery in those when you agree to submit that they can that they own all the rights to the image and they could profit off of it. And I'm just like, ooh, I don't see. And so I'm like scared, like, okay, well, if I want to sell some comic cat posters of Sano Ant with Bindle, are they gonna sick legal on my ass? Like,
yeah, I feel you
personally.
And we're talking about Saturday Am. Oh, sorry, you go first.
Now, see, I would love to submit a proofreading card.
Yes.
A text is just proofreading and text. Insert following punctuation on other people's cards.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of commas and periods.
It comes with a pen attached.
No, it's just like a sticker sheet of commas and periods and such. It's like it's like the second edition of a Pickle for the Knowing Ones, Where Timothy
Yes.
Dexter was like, "Oh, I see. You're all complaining about me not putting any punctuation in. Well, here you go. Here's a page of punctuation. Put it wherever you want."
Let's see. Yeah, before we move on to the next card, I was going to say something about the, the copyright situation, giving up your copyright or your rights to your intellectual property. I don't want to say anything uncharitable here, but when I hear that kind of stuff, because you said that was a thing that you read on Saturday AM's legal stuff, that you have to sign over the rights if you design a card for them.
It's here, I'll pull up their thing so I'm not misquoting them, but basically it's like we own the rights to this image, so we could do what we want with it. And
yeah,
what I found interesting is you can also submit original characters to that. So that's like kind of where I start sweating, because like if somebody submits like, oh, here's my cool anime guy OC, I'll put him in Saturday Wars, that'd be cool. And now that like, do they own the rights to that? Hopefully they wouldn't do anything that sleazy. Just like I don't know any other word for it, but and they have to protect themselves and say that like, okay, we're in the clear to print this card and sell this card.
That was basically what I was going to say. Yeah, where I was going with it, I was going to say that there's a large history of Saturday is not the first ones who have done this kind of thing, doing a manga publishing, obviously in English. You would know that as well. There's so many different ones. So there is a history of negative and positive publishers, as there is in any art field or any creative field. In the world of indie games, indie developers have to try so hard to try to find the right publisher that isn't going to do something crappy. Like, I don't want this to suddenly turn into a rant session, but if anyone knows about limited run game, if your indie game gets released with limited run games, you're basically doomed to have like the worst, most scammy release ever. And it's not the indie developer's fault. It's entirely limited run's fault. So that's what I mean to say, that there's always negatives and positives in this history of publishers and people releasing stuff in America. So I would hope that they would be a positive one. It just gave me flashbacks to the stories I'd heard in the past. But I'm not saying that they're like that. I'm trying to be as charitable as possible in that regard.
If you don't mind, maybe we could end this episode by reading some fine print.
Yes.
Oh,
that sounds good to me.
Awesome. So the fine print, I sent you guys the page for the new artists. Should we read the whole page?
We're looking at risks and challenges.
Oh, okay, it's pretty short.
Sure.
Yeah. Artwork submissions. Do you think you have what it takes to be a manga artist? Have you always dreamed of creating a character and see them published in your favorite game? That sure is a sentence. Have you always dreamed of creating a character and see them published in your favorite game?
Saturday Wars is my favorite game. So seeing them. and then new pair. So then we have Sano and Cast. Your artwork here. Your art could be in between Sano and then new paragraph.
Excitedly pointing at the blank card. Sano reaching out to grab you.
New paragraph.
He's gonna get you. Lowercase the.
No. Just remove the.
I'm glad that they could capitalize Saturday AM. I'm glad they fixed their shift key in time for that one.
You could just remove the and put a parentheses, a possessive, make it Saturday AM's pipeline. Then bam, it's perfect. Yeah. No issue.
Dude, like they need
Saturday AM pipeline.
I believe it's the Saturday AM pipeline.
Yeah.
What kind of a? I mean, it's not much of a pipeline if it takes you. Okay.
It makes me think of like, the alt-right pipeline.
Right? The school to prison pipeline, the alt-right pipeline. Not a lot of good pipelines out there.
Known XL pipeline.
Right? Like, I can only think of bad pipelines. So what's Saturday AM's pipeline? Like, you put your heart in a manga and then it's stuck in limbo.
Just say process, please.
Yeah. The Saturday AM pipeline.
The OELM to MLM pipeline.
Pipeline allows new creators to be vetted, properly reviewed, assigned editors, and distributed, not just into our digital magazine, but ultimately into their first print-wide release book with our annual series. Annual, all caps.
Yeah.
Submissions will also be considered for inclusion in a future set of Saturday Wars CCG. Wait, what?
Wait.
I thought this was just
Not
about the cards.
into our digital magazine, but ultimately into their first, and distributed not into our digital magazine, but not just into our digital magazine, but ultimately into their first print wide release book.
Oh, okay. So it's
Wait,
like your
okay,
first time
R,
being
and then there, and then back to R.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
See, that's another kind of thing about them is because it's like, oh, cool, you got into Saturday AM annual. It's like because every year they put out a manga anthology of one shots. A lot of those only get like 1 or 2 chapters afterwards, and like, so I don't know, man. I feel like they're kind of hyping themselves up. Like, again, small company, you can only do so much. You can only greenlight so many. But like best case scenario for Saturday AM, like for most artists, is like, well, I got into annual. That's pretty cool, and like you could put that on your resume and share that. The odds of you getting
so this is
realization very low.
To Saturday AM, and then it maybe gets into Saturday Wars.
Oh my gosh! Like their submission process is so convoluted because like, okay, so they have the Summer of Manga event, and from there, if you're one of the winners of, okay, that's the other thing. Like they want you to make an original manga. Like they don't want you to recycle a manga that's like pre-existing, which is fair. But so you submit your manga idea, and then after that, then you get the chance to make the manga, and then from there,
or maybe the art just goes into a card. Or I don't get this. This is really confusingly worded.
Right? Gosh, everything about them is so convoluted. See, that's why I'm like whining so much about the AI in this, because it's like if you're just like a manga guy and now it's like, well, now if you I really don't want to shit on any artist with Saturday AM. Like it's just like a publisher, even if like I think they're being mismanaged to heck. Like if you are just a person making manga and this is the best avenue for you, that's cool. But now you have to kind of live with like, okay, now they can just take my art and put AI on it. And there's not really a lot you can do, which kind of sucks. So hopefully if you're thinking, if somebody is thinking of applying to Saturday AM, like hopefully they're just kind of like cognizant of, hey, my art could be turned into AI merchandise now. Like that is just a reality with this company.
Yeah.
Which like, again, some people might be fine with. Not everyone is.
Just reading down this page a bit. Upload a JPEG, PNG, or TIFF file. JPEG, seriously?
Oh, I also like the question.
Cards like very JPEG. Yeah.
The purpose of a TIFF. I mean, okay, so I come from graphic design world. So when we use a TIFF,
please, I need your graphic design insight.
We'll be like creating a graphic design, like a poster. I the other day did a map. So you have a TIFF. It will be like, let's say that I wanted to have a very clear illustration of a church house to say that, oh, the map is going to include a church house. You're going to pass by a church. So I would add a TIFF, which would be a little church on the map. And then the rest of the design would be made up of, lines and text. So a TIFF is like a piece of a design. In a way, you could submit an art as a TIFF, but that would be implying that, again, like it's just a piece of something. Like I would submit, like if I was doing this guy doing the vibe check on me, the one reaching out doing a vibe check, that would be a TIFF. Yeah. But that's not a finished illustration. There's no background on the vibe check guy. So like, just a TIFF is confusing. That's usually for a transparent like piece of something. It's usually not a complete image.
And then I feel like JPEG is self-explanatory as to why it's not good for this.
Exactly.
I saw on their site they have a blank card.
Fine, I guess
they have a blank card, full resolution. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna make the YAOI card.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make the YAOI card.
We can have so much fun with this.
The greatest find.
Oh gosh, you think that's like the template they use for the actual cards?
No.
No.
It's remarkably similar. It's remarkably
the real template.
Looks pretty close.
Although I think the real thing has more transparency, and the it's more transparent.
Well,
I think
it's
Yeah.
normal for me to make a yaoi card.
actually no, this has a fair bit of transparency actually.
Right?
There's some fairly transparent sections here. So yeah, no, it's
Could be.
I think this might be the real template.
It does appear to be the real
Did you wanna
template.
start
Start
reading
what?
the fine print?
Yes, of
Did you want to
course.
start reading the fine print?
Absolutely. These terms and conditions are set forth by my footprint. Have you ever been to myfootprint.com? It just reminds me of the Oni Place bit. My Footprint Entertainment and Resurrection Gaming Company, the quote-unquote companies, and apply to all submissions by you, quote-unquote, participants? What? These terms and conditions are set forth by my footprint. There is...
I thought that they were both an LLC. Is there like a difference?
I have no idea.
Okay.
They list one
I'm
company.
not a contract lawyer. Don't talk to me about this.
Oh, okay. Resurrection Games Company Limited. Okay. And they are based in Canada, or Canada, as they said on their game pound.
And
Okay, I understand now. I was getting really confused because I thought we jumped from... Is My Footprint Entertainment a separate company from Resurrection Gaming?
Yeah.
Okay, then this makes sense.
They are the company that runs Saturday AM.
I see. Okay, I was getting confused over nothing. I was like, why is there only one company? But then it says the companies, but I realized that My Footprint is separate from Resurrection Games. So that looks fine. That's all squared away. Eligibility. Submission is open to artists of all ages. Participants under the age of 8.
Be an artist.
Yeah. Submissions are open to only artists. Participants under the age of 18 must have parental or legal guardian consent to participate. Any submissions considered for inclusion in a future set of Saturday Wars CCG or for any other publication will have parental consent validated prior to use. Well, I mean, that's cool. Involving kids, at least. I mean, that's cool that they have a legal thing in set for that. Kind of reminds me of like Mega Man back in the day, including some fan-made Mega Man bosses into the games. They used to do that in the NES era. Yeah, that kind of stuff is cool. We can imagine some kid who was into this and is like, I don't know, maybe their parents raised them on the Saturday AM pipeline.
Being into this?
If their parents raised them on it, I don't know. Their parents were like really into this niche. It's all about the family. You got to start them young on Saturday AM. It's like Dance Moms.
Oh, no.
Anyway, selection. Artworks will be
Never something you want to be compared to.
No.
Selection. Artworks will be judged based on creativity, originality, and artistic merit. Okay, fair enough. By a panel of judges selected by the companies.
A panel. Wow.
Yeah.
I think your drawing's got a shot, Lucario. I think you should submit it.
Maybe I will.
Panel of judges.
The decision of the judges is final. Okay, nothing to say in response to that.
I gotta highlight the prize money. Winning submissions are not awarded any monetary prize or implied compensation. Womp womp.
Oof.
Instead, the winner will have the opportunity to have their artwork published by the companies, subject to negotiation and agreement on terms. The publication of the artwork may include, but is not limited to, collectible cards, online platforms, social media, promotional materials, merchandise, and any other medium or format deemed suitable by the companies. So you're working for exposure.
It's not great because I understand what they're trying to hint at. What they're trying to say is like, oh, you draw something for us. We really like you. You could potentially work for us. But that is basically just working for exposure. They're trying to make it sound really fancy by being like, if you do this little trial and you prove that you're a good artist to us, then maybe you can be an artist on a real comic for us. But again, a lot of these people are going to be kids.
How Summer of Manga works.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. That is how Summer of Manga works. They in recent years they started rolling out, if you're the first prize winner, you get this big cash prize. They've started doing that, but the actual Summer of Manga it operates very similarly, which I kind of don't like.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that either. Recently, Sanrio, the company who made Hello Kitty and Agretzko, of course, they did a competition where the idea was basically that there was like a social media platform thing. Like I think you submitted to a hashtag and then it like showed up on this special group hashtag. But the idea is if you didn't win, then at least you still had fun, like making art. And also it was super open. It wasn't like, it wasn't like draw an original thing to pitch to us. It was more like if you draw some cute Sanrio fan art, then we'll potentially pick yours. So that kind of thing I see as really innocent. That kind of thing where it's like I think they did give a prize. I'm pretty sure it was a prize if they liked yours the most. That kind of thing I see as potentially innocent. But what we're talking about here is like they potentially want to use your original creation. You could make a really cool character and they're going to use it on their merch. They're potentially using AI on. And yeah, I'm with you. That made me groan. Gave me some vibes to other bad publishers.
It's also like, as for like the Summer of Manga thing, because it's like I've done most of the manga I've drawn has been for free. Most of the assistant work that I've been paid for has not been much, and it's just been for the love of the game. So it's also like, if you as an artist are like, yeah, I will draw for Saturday AM for free. I do not care. I love them so much. Like that, I get it, man. Like, but so I don't know why like involving extra merchandising, like something about that is like it just feels a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of the Summer of Manga stuff and underpaying the artists in Saturday AM. A lot of that really shitty. I'll just say that. But despite all of this being out in the open and artists knowing like, hey, this company doesn't pay a lot, but I love what they stand for, so I'll work for them. It's like I get it. It's like I'm not gonna discourage anyone from working for them, but also it's like how much reach do I actually have? Like it's like I don't think I could talk anyone out of it. But it's like working for them for free. I get that. Doing extra merchandising, I don't know, that's where it's kind of gets a little I kind of have a little more problems with that, because then it's less about the manga.
That was my issue as well.
It kind of, it starts turning into something else. So I don't like that.
Because if you're not going to compensate them and you're taking the rights to their intellectual property, that potentially means that they could submit and dip. And what I mean in this is the sense that, they draw a picture of a character you really like, you put it on your card, and then you never hear from that person again. In that case, what kind of highlighting of creators is this really? It more just sounds like an exchange in that case. But not even an exchange, because you're not giving them anything for it. So it's a gift.
Yeah. So yeah, you can submit original works to Saturday Wars for consideration. I'd say, yeah, be very careful about that. If you are going, because if we all draw like a picture of Sano and we submit it, and and they go and print like boatloads of money based off of our beautiful Sano MS Paint drawings. It's like that'd be one of those like, well, that sucks, we didn't get a cut. But like, if we submit our OCs that we love and care for, then it's like, well, that's a little different. I guess we'll move on to the
notification. Winning submissions will be notified via email and announced on Saturday Wars CCG's website and social media. Due to the volume of submissions, only winning submissions will be contacted.
You kind of sound like Gino Samuel.
The volume. How many people are submitting to this?
Yeah, I was going to say,
I gotta wonder.
What fucking volume?
See, ownership and usage rights.
I want to read this.
Yeah.
Ownership and usage rights. By submitting your artwork,
where
you grant the companies a non-exclusive, royalty-free, perpetual license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, and display the artwork worldwide, any media, and for any purpose, including but not limited to promotional, marketing, advertising, and commercial purposes. This license includes, but is not limited to, the right to use the artwork in printed materials, online publications, social media, merchandise, and any other medium or format now known or hereafter developed.
Ooh.
Without further compensation, notification, or approval from the participant. So, the second you submit it, it's ours forever, fuck you.
Yeah, that's, like, I get that they have to cover themselves, but,
it's ours forever, and no matter how much money we make off of it, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know, you think that with all of the AI shortcuts they're taking, they could, there are a couple bucks for the artist, but okay, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Participants acknowledge that the companies may sublicense the rights granted above to third parties, including but not limited to partners, sponsors, and affiliates for the same purposes outlined herein. Participants retain ownership of their artwork. Clearly fucking not.
Yeah. You needed, like, they needed to reread that one. That's, yeah, it's just like, okay, just start at the beginning of the paragraph again and read it to me again. Like,
it's like, okay, you own it, but we have, oh no, it's non-exclusive.
Yeah.
So you can license it to other people.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, so we can use it forever for no cost. You own it, though. You can license it out to someone else.
It says participants retain ownership of their artwork, and this license does not transfer ownership to the companies. However, participants agree to not license or sell the rights to their artwork to any other party that would be granted to the companies under these terms.
I see how it is.
So in other words, if you have a website and you put some of your art up on there, like, hey, here's some cool art I drew, and then someone, like, you know, offers to pay you for that art, you have to go to them and be like, nope, sorry, Saturday AM owns it. And then the person will go, well, did Saturday AM pay you for that? I can outbid them. And then you go, nope, Saturday AM paid me nothing.
Well, I guess this would give you the right to put the picture still on your website.
That you just can't sell it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, you can't sell it because because it's actually in our thing. So that actually loses us money, right? Because otherwise that person would have to buy our thing.
Then they keep going. By submitting original works, you represent and warrant that you have all necessary rights, licenses, consent, and permissions to grant the above licenses to the companies. Furthermore, you affirm that your original works do not infringe upon any third party's intellectual property rights or violate any applicable laws or regulations. That makes sense, but also, I don't like them asking for original work. Like, my mind goes to like somebody's cool anime OC. I guess like if you just lovingly paint like the forest that the hammer guy was tromping around in, like I guess that would or I guess that would count as fan art. I'm trying to think like yeah, don't give them your OC.
Yeah, the fine line between fan art versus original content is complicated because, you know, that forest could show up in the background of Hammer, but then if you then proceed to make an entire like narrative out of that forest, like, I don't know, you make like a comic about how the trees have these creatures living inside them. Technically, the whole creature inside the trees idea belongs to you. You just don't own the image of the forest, so it's complicated.
Yeah, that was a lot of Fredrick Jones' his Instagram live was him talking about creators being more protective of their rights and just getting a lot of things wrong. And I just felt very sad that this was his mindset for manga was just being very like. I'll hold up on sharing my thoughts if we get enough people who say they want us to cover it.
Submit that in the comments. Let us know.
Additionally, if submitting fan art, you affirm that you have all necessary rights, licenses, consents, and permissions to create and submit such fan art. You also warrant that your fan art does not infringe upon any third party's intellectual property rights or violate any applicable laws or regulations. Yeah. General conditions. We reserve the right to disqualify any participant who violates the terms and conditions or engages in fraudulent activities or for any other reason we deem applicable.
Ruh-roh. We're still in the clear to submit.
By participating in the contest, participants agree to abide. Yeah, wait, contest, huh?
Wait, I thought this was just like an open submission.
Yeah, what?
It is described that way.
By participating in the contest.
All right, I guess.
Participants agree. Participants should probably be in capital.
Yeah.
Like in the rest of the document. Agree to abide by these terms and conditions. Resurrection Games may need the contact information you provide to us to contact you about our products and services for promotional reasons or to communicate with you about your submission. You may unsubscribe from these communications at any time. For information on how to unsubscribe, as well as our privacy practices and commitment to protecting your privacy, please review our privacy policy.
I guess...
Link to your online portfolio if applicable. Fuck off.
Right.
Yeah, like they could get back to you and say, listen, what you submitted wasn't that good, but your portfolio looks pretty good. Can you draw something else for us? Like, yeah, fuck off.
I will certainly I will draw something new for them. And maybe they'll notice me.
Submit the ant.
Wow, this is the most.
Submit the ant with no context.
I don't want them to
I don't
notice me.
I don't want them to own my Sano Ant. It would be.
That's true. Never mind.
My Sano.
I gotta draw them a new Sano. Hey,
Sano
even
Ant.
sadder Sano.
Everybody, Sano Ant.
Maybe I should draw Sano as like one of the crying sad cat memes. Maybe that's the only way to make it look more pathetic. I'm good with calling the episode here for now.
Same.
Me too.
Thank you, everyone.
It was really nice hanging with you too. It was awesome as always. Always have so much fun with these.
Yeah, it's always a good time.